Welcome to a living library of resiliency. I'm your host, Rhiannon Barry, a self-taught visual artist, a community-minded wellness program developer, a psychology student, and a wellness retreat coordinator. I spent the large majority of my childhood and teen years on the north shore of Lake Superior and now reside in Niagara, Ontario, Canada. I have a background in journalism and communications, community social work, and I'm currently studying to become a certified psychotherapist. I have a strong interest in art therapy methods and environmental psychology, and I develop and facilitate online and in-person programs that activate and encourage creative exploration as a form of self-care and well-being. Join me with my guests and co-hosts as we share stories and exchange energy in mutual respect. For a more in-depth experience, please consider participating in my creative wellness online programs and in-person retreats. Join the creative conversation. It's a journey involving discussions to process resiliency, a conversation of discovery and healing, pathfinding tips and storytelling for creatives, and talks among friends to open ears and eyes. We hope to find many new stories to share through the Living Library. Today we are speaking with Rajshree. Shh, just for a minute. We examine her creative life perspective. She was born in India in 1979. Life could be confusing growing up as a woman in a culture heavily sprinkled with micro-discriminations against females. She believes the quality of life women enjoy here in Canada is enhanced because it is a country that values everyone's voice and every life matters. Still, she stresses that more work is needed to reach equity for women in this country. Her family lived in southern India, and her father encouraged observing the arts and the relationship with local artisans, colorful female fashion and style, and vendors. Growing up in a culture that valued and encouraged competition, she participated in various creative competitions beginning in first grade. Teachers, artists, and talented students provided a great platform to observe and explore creativity. She learned embroidery techniques, fine art, wire weaving, braiding, and watercolors. Later, she studied in northern India, where she explored the vast culture and diversity of the region. She studied art and architecture, which developed her critical thinking and perception of the world. Becoming a mother and moving to Canada presented her with new challenges and changes that ultimately inspired a new interest in painting with acrylic. She now uses a broad spectrum of colors in her pieces, choosing simple lines and dot art, and creating depending on mood or timing. She has exhibited at the Pelham Art Festival, City of St. Catharines City Hall, and Niagara Falls as a group member in the Queen Street Artist Group. She firmly believes that colors have the power to change moods and create calming states of mind, and in turn, can strengthen one's creativity. She believes that one's mind finds it hard to stay still, even for a minute. For this reason, she offers dot and line art workshops as a portal to revitalize her participants' minds. You can participate in her upcoming workshops at Third Space Cafe in Niagara Falls.
Apparently, they said even the neighbor had a basement flooding, but the pump was supposed to work, but I don't know, sensors somehow backed up in the wrong time.
Oh no.
It didn't work, so.
That's the pits. Ours was just, we had to lay a few towels down, and I did about 3 or 4 loads of towels over the last week.
Yes, I'm not used to wooden house, you know? I'm not used to the basement flooding. I'm not used to this kind of gimmicks, you know, when you get up and like, what? How can water come inside?
Well, how long have you been in Canada?
I came in 2009.
Okay, so fairly recently still.
Yes, but since I moved to your own house, this 2016, so almost 5 years now.
Yeah.
5 to 6 years.
Where are you from?
I'm from India.
India, so no snow.
No snow, no snow.
What was that like getting used to Canadian weather, and what was your first winter experience like?
The first time when I saw snow, it was mind blasting. Like it is like real snow. It's like you see a God, is this real snow? Is it? So that was really fascinating. And the chill, It was quite a weather because for it's like left to the right. It's like it's like a day and night. You know certain weather. You are used to certain things, and you come here and you come to know that there is extreme weather possible, and how gradually. I was surprised how gradually I came in spring. So how gradually my body got used to the thing, and how I got coped up with this winter. It was pretty amazing. I thought I would never survive.
Yeah. I feel bad like for like I used to work in a settlement center, and I felt so bad when people like arrived in winter
Yes.
from like Haiti or something. You're like, oh no.
No.
Like not good.
No.
Get off
And
the plane.
and
It's
the funny
freezing.
part is when people ask me the same thing, how did you cope up with the snow? But I have to tell them, nobody puts you in this. It's not like you have hot day 30 degrees and next day you have -10. You
Yeah.
have a
You have the
very
fall.
subtle way of the environment plays, like it grows gradually, 5 degrees.
And you're
less,
like, I need a
less,
warmer
less,
coat now.
less. So you and your mind are already prepared slowly. It's not that you're randomly
dropped in. Not like somebody who's
No.
like getting dropped off
So-
in the middle of winter to Canada. Yeah.
It was quite a memorable experience. The shoveling, I never knew what you do, shoveling, and the snow and the ice fall.
It's a bit ridiculous.
Everything was new. And the first thing when people came here, they said it's a beautiful day. It's a sunny day. And I used to find I'm from India, right? So when the sun is every day.
Like beating
Yes,
down.
it's
Yeah.
nobody cares about the
If the
sun,
sun is out.
there or not. So when they say it's a beautiful day, and I used to find it a little funny on the road, and I used to say, yes, it's a sunny day. But I have noticed after 4-5 years of living, I'm going on the road and saying, it's a sunny day, it's a sunny day, because you're so excited to see the sun. It plays so much of a value.
Yeah,
Which
it's
I
cultural.
underestimated when back home. So
Mhm.
I understand the value of sun, at least. How much it values.
How much we value it over in this.
And how much psychologically your mood values. That
Yeah.
was never a question.
A lot of people have something called SAD.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It
Yeah.
was never a question at that time because you're always full of
You get that vitamin D.
Yeah, your abundance. You're already melatonin is so high that you're dark shaded.
Yeah.
Like, but that was quite all the small things quite kind of changed the way I had been thinking about myself and how I came to Canada, and it made me rethink everything: the arrogance, the egoism, the things I knew about myself. That kind of changed everything.
Yeah, it would.
Yes, the climate did change a lot of my perspective. Everything changed.
Yeah, how much
how
change
much-
you're capable of.
No, how much the weather is. It's amazing. You see in the
Yeah.
morning it's sunny, and then you have snow, and then you see rain, and then you see back the
sun's back out.
It makes the way how our mood is also like that, and how everything, if you see, it's almost the same. How it can go vary and how we can accommodate.
Yeah. It dictates everything. They say like the moon dictates us too. The sun dictates
Yes,
us.
but that's long term, and when the action is happening in reality, it hits you more faster, right? It's like
Yeah, the sun's on your
it's like,
skin and you
never
feel
check
good.
the weather report in India. We had never had to check a weather report. It's hottest. What is that to check?
How hot does it get?
Maximum I have experienced is 36 to 38.
Okay.
It's pretty hot.
Yeah. And it's dry heat?
I live by the coastal, so
Okay.
by at least by 5 o'clock, you're expecting the sea breeze to kick in. So by
That's
evening, at least it gets to the temperature where you can breathe in 28 to 30.
Do you miss it over there?
I do.
Oh, can you?
I do miss the sun part. As I said, I never knew it played so much of importance. But when I see here when the sun comes, my every memory, my cells, everything is all like let's go.
What's the biggest difference between living where you were in India? Is it southern India?
Southern India.
Versus in Canada now. What's the biggest difference between the two countries that you notice?
It's the east and the west, as they say. It's like day and night. You just can't explain it. But if you see the
Everything.
daytime, how you look, and the same scenario, if you see in the nighttime, how do you look? It's the same thing.
Wow.
The city with the day lighting and sitting with the night lighting, not core is not changed. The people's personality is not changed. People's core and how much they behave is so similar. How they work in that environment is different. If, like the way you are in but in the daytime, how you see and how you see nighttime is different. But that kind of a change.
That's interesting.
Yes, and climate does change a lot of effect on the psychology, which as I said, I never knew.
Heat has a big effect.
Heat has
on
a big effect too.
psychology.
Yes, because you think heat doesn't affect you. It does affect you because your brain is not even there. Because you're always worried of sweating, your thing, and all these things.
You're in the present.
In the cold, your heat, it doesn't matter. You're freezing, so you are like always you're thinking about it.
It's hard to concentrate when you're cold.
Sometimes the question arises: is the body more dominant or the mind is more dominant?
Right.
And so much in effect, body is the dominant because when you're in pain, nothing matters.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me about your childhood in India.
My father is from a very, very remote, kind of a remote area, at the eastern side of India, which is not very forward compared to the southern part of the India. The southern part of India is more forward and they are more progressive and they've developed. So from there he moved to the southern part, which is Chennai, or Madras as the British used to call before. So from there, it's as alien as Canada to me. That was the same fact. We didn't know every province has its own language, dialogue, culture. So when we moved, it was completely new for us, and I was just 2 years old or 3 years old. But I know I have lived all my life, and art has been the only friend.
Yeah,
Because my father kept moving places and keep moving houses. So. And the houses like Toronto, you know how big it is. Like you keep moving.
You can move to different neighborhoods every other year. Yeah.
Every year, not every 2 years. So that's the only thing I knew is my art. So every time I go or you're traveling, and I used to have one pencil. I used to know worst come worst I can draw. Keep drawing. And then in school we have a culture of competitions, even from grade 1 to grade 12 to all your things. So you have a competition every time. There's a competition. So in grade 1, when they used to pick kids if you want to join, so that's how I started doing competitions. Just competition.
And you were winning, and
some I was winning. Some I was even got a participation. I think in grade 1 you just get a certificate. It gives you like, well, I got something.
Yeah.
And first, second, third, that was not a priority at that time, but I was really into the competition, just wanted to go. But it is only through the competitions I came to know I was good. That,
through achievement.
And as I kept moving schools, and every schools I moved, that's the only standard thing I do is go join the competition, enroll yourself.
Yeah, right where you're going.
Yes. Yeah. So that kept me as a backbone, actually, all my life.
That's awesome.
Because studies I was average, not a very excellent in it, but this kept me going.
That's awesome. At certain points in my life I've looked back and I've discovered that art's been there all along,
and I find that it's also because the diversity people have, and art is there in every format.
The
folk art is so actually it's a multi diversity which actually kept it going. Because there is art
something new.
There are people are doing in the saris, in the dresses, in the jewelry, or in the house, or in any format. And we have lots of festivals every month. So every time it's a new. So there is art everywhere. It's
a big part of all the cultures.
It's a big culture of your whole life.
Yeah.
Everybody's life, even a child. Every time there is an art in some form, art and color. That's how we basically start anything.
Lots of color.
Lots of colors and lots of art.
I see that in your art.
Yes.
Like so many colors.
So many colors. Mm-hmm. And I still cannot capture the combination of colors they do. How did you get that combination? It's just so much of colors.
It's like where they are in relation to each other, right? You're trying to figure that out.
We wear a colorful dress. If nothing, we wear colorful jewelry. If that's not enough, we wear colorful on the thing.
And then the makeup and
everything. So it's meant to be.
And then throw some color on the shoes.
Yes, because if you are not, I think especially in women, if they expect you to be more colorful and they expect you to be your best looking all the time, right? So it gives you the best appeal. Then compared to monotone or same shade, they would appreciate what if you have some colors on you.
Yeah, like you're dressed up for being presented.
Presented, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think even the child to everybody, unless you're a widow.
Oh, then you're in black.
Then they are not much cling or towards the color side.
Hmm. Okay. Well, it does show up in your art. And the first time I saw your art was when I went to the Queen Street Artist Group,
Okay.
which I am also a member of. And I walked around and I saw, oh, that looks beautiful. And I found out who you were, and I thought it was very interesting. Very interesting art because it was different from everything else in there. So I knew there was some sort of cultural aspect to it. And then we had our profiles put on the webpage, and I got to read a little bit more about you. I went, oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense, because I'm like, where is all this color coming from? And so do you want to talk a little bit about your style of art, and maybe
Yes.
even your workshops?
Yes, I can.
How you
Came
across Queen Street Artist Group.
Recently 5 years ago, and I was started, but I wanted to come back to art. And you have a problem. Where do you want to come back? Do you want acrylic? Do you want to paint this? Do you want to speak portrait or still life? And it was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like, I felt like what is the basic of ABC of art is like folk art, like basic, because you are just trying to express it, and there is a story. That's the end of it.
Right, there's a story.
Every folk art, we have a story. It's always a story. It's a way of storytelling. So whatever you feel like telling a story. It doesn't matter if this tree you like it and this tree feels like telling you a story. You take the tree and you put it in the thing. There is no straight lines. There's no tools. They use twigs, sticks, hand, whatever. The medium is not the problem. The whole point is you want to express it at that time and what you want to tell.
So there's no technical roadmap.
There's no roadmap.
Yeah.
But you can see how people have used to fill, how they have done. But the whole point is about us telling a story. Every line has got some. Basically, it can be anything: mother, child, father, mother. Basic day to day. What you see in the universe and the earth, which is all in your surroundings. And I used to always love peacocks and birds and trees. So that's how I started with mine. Like, let me start doing simple folk art and simple with the simple animal with a simple thing. And then I try to put colors in it. And then I start putting lines in it to see what am I trying to give a depth. That's how I started slowly. For me to gain confidence. Because all you want to do is accomplish something. Mm-hmm. When you are new after a long time, you're not doing it and you're coming back, for you to welcome yourself. So I thought that will be the best way to welcome myself, is to make like A, B, C, D. Let's do one,
When did you know you were ready to show your art publicly?
When I made at least 2 big paintings, and when I thought that I'm a little comfortable with the colors and the medium, then I was trying to, I wanted to get into Pelham Art Show. That was always been the target or the dream. First step was to get into the Pelham Art Show.
Okay.
So to get into Pelham Art Show, I thought I should have something.
Something big.
Something big or small, or something I wanted to express other than the folk art, which was there.
Or something fine art.
Something fine art, or something which I wanted to go beyond, which I'm always doing. Mm-hmm. And in that, when I was selected, I was very happy. And then the jury picked up one of the paintings, which was a mixed combination of Indian style, Madhubani, which is a particular line art, and I use little bit of my way of seeing things, but in a different format, not following the same protocol.
You're finding your own style.
Yes, because I'm also telling the story, but in a very simple and very direct way. Mm-hmm. My aim is to only attract the little kids who can get it. I feel like if a 10-year child gets it, then I'm sure 40, 50, 60, any age can get it. Or any age group can get it. Because I wanted to make sure whatever I want to express, I want to make sure they get it. It gets it, the whole, because the message gets it. That was my intention when I was starting in they made me all jumbled up in a ball. That's not the point. The point is he's telling that we all are same. Mm-hmm. Or we are connected.
So there's some sort of message. I know a lot of artists have a hard time writing artist statements. And sometimes they say, okay, 250 words, and then the next one is like 300 words, and the next one is like, I want 1,000 words. It's like, do you have a hard time figuring out what to put in those and how
That's
to?
the only hard thing I have. But if I have to write artist statement regarding one particular competition, or I'm trying to focus on one issue, when in St. Catharines City Hall they had a resilience to.
Yeah, I'm in that one as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
they selected that painting.
Yeah.
One of my painting they selected, which was respect, and I did a Aboriginal man with the.
Yeah, so we're both in that show as well.
Ah, that's
Yeah.
cool. So that was a topic in that I was
Yeah.
writing about why did I feel that way. That was a very simple statement about a very gist of myself, but more about the painting which I want to tell you.
Yes. I find I have a friend who took art history, and she used to always tease me about how much writing there is involved in art. She's like, oh, there's so much writing. And she'd kind of giggle at me because I'd be like, oh, I don't want to write this. There's so much.
I had taken art and architecture parallelly.
Yeah.
So I had to do art thesis as well as architectural thesis.
Yeah.
So when I had to do this art thesis for 3 years, so I could
You're used to
understand
writing.
the writing and all this. But once you know the subject or you like the subject, you don't mind writing much about it.
Yeah, sometimes. I find, I guess, while I'm writing it, I'm sort of trying to get in the minds of the jury, which I need to pull myself back out of and just write what it's about. But other times, my style is a little bit descriptive of either events that have moved me, things that have happened in my life. It's very emotive, so it's not simple. It's very deep. So when sometimes they ask me, okay, what's this painting about? I don't want to tell them what it's about. So then I have to take all this extra energy and create an artist statement that, you know, is on the fringes of what it's about. So I guess I create my own problem.
I guess that way, because I'm an architect and I was thinking it's always my intention is to show you more clearly.
Yeah.
That's the opposite way of.
Sometimes I do it clearly, but some paintings
So
can't
I
be
want
told.
to tell them very clear. For me, because you are an art and architecture, for you every line matters. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So when you're showing a line, I wanted to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I feel recently, the more I think the art gets into the basic format, the basic of what you want to convey, is being more.
You've seen a better result.
Yes, that's what I put it.
See, where I'm opposite, the more I do almost like my paintings as if it's my personal journal, the better the responses of my pieces.
Yes, that's true. That's true, though, definitely.
Yeah, so it's just
But why is that? Why is the problem? Do we have is to show?
Oh no, it's because I never started painting to show. I always just painted because I wanted to express myself. And then some of those paintings I still have. Some have been in shows now. It's not intentional, but I paint for myself before I paint for sale.
That's true.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, I don't know. I'm opening up a little bit more. The worst thing you can do to me is ask me to or paint a commission. That's the worst thing, because that just rips.
We should have a pro who just understands every artist. Like, come on, let's go.
Yeah, it's too hard. It's like,
because you're dealing with another language. It's just not about the same way of. It's not art painting. It's a different language of writing and composing.
That's exactly what it is.
Another field on itself.
Yeah. So right now I am studying psychology counseling, and the hope is to be an art therapist one day, certified art therapist. So that's kind of where my path is leading me through my art.
Yes.
To use it as a catalyst for change. And I know you kind of have a similar idea in that in your workshops, you like to create a mindful experience so people can relax.
Yeah. Actually, if, after this artist and everything, there was a parallel life where everybody, I feel, can become an artist. It's not about perfection.
Yeah.
Right. It's not about perfection. So if it's not about perfection, then it becomes more about expression.
Mm-hmm.
So when it becomes expression, I'm sure everybody can express, and that's how I started more looking into how I can get the people to open up to the world of art, which is not a very hard thing because they've been doing from the school. It's just that you stop, and then
somebody may have said that's not nice, or
yes,
who knows?
Who knows? And then this folk art, which is known as Mugulu.
So my style is just like I sit down, I think of something. I did paint one that when the anti-abortion law came out, they overturned it down the States. It made me very angry. So I sat down and started painting similar to this, and it got picked in a show, and it massive like good feedback, and I had just sat there like angrily painted it. So that's kind of my style.
But end of the painting, you're not angry anymore.
No, that's
the whole point. That's the whole point of my workshop is anybody can paint. Once first thing, and second thing is colors will always add good vibration to you. It might be any color. Out of the 7 colors, you pick any color. By the time you finish filling up that color, you're feeling good. I rarely have seen anybody who finished painting and still feels angry or still upset about it.
I used to teach like social paint classes in a little gallery, and the only people who were ever angry were accountants. And I think it has something to do with having to make sense of everything.
Yeah.
So you would guide them through, and then, if something wasn't, coming out the exact same as mine, they would, oh my God, So that was what I noticed, was like people with a certain mindset of perfection or things have to make sense.
Yes.
Were the ones that were not enjoying the art class.
But I think it just like more than teaching art, the whole point of art is like to get yourself lost.
Yeah. So now I do something called gentle painting. It's a take on the traditional social paint class, but it's not like paint by numbers.
My more intention in this work class is like, for 2 minutes. Yeah. If you can be quiet, 2 minutes, it's very good. But 2 minutes sitting still is very hard.
It is.
Some people have cooking, some people have gardening, some people have this. There is always a different way or portal, I feel like a portal, of going to a meditation zone.
Yep.
And I'm providing a place where they can be meditative for 2 hours, because they're learning something, brain is occupied, and they're using colors where the color is using. And because the mind is there, engaged. And without the knowledge, 2 hours is a long time if you're thinking in a meditative state. Because they're not thinking anything. They're not doing anything.
It's like being in Shavasana, I say.
Yes,
sometimes.
And 2 hours. And if they can cultivate this kind of 2 hours, or 1 hour or 2 minutes, if they go on cultivating it, it will help them to reproduce it. And they can have more exercise.
The muscle.
Even 2 hours, 1 hour, half an hour, But eventually in the week, it adds up.
Yeah.
It adds up to 4 hours.
You do have to train, like in meditation. You start with 2 minutes, and then you can build up and build up.
The thing is, anything you feel at that day, that's why I said anything you feel like doing at that day, do it. It doesn't matter how long it is. But me in the zone, time is not the matter, right? You want to be in a relaxed zone.
You want to reach the zone.
So time is not the matter. Do it. And as I kept doing it, I felt better all the time. It made me feel better. So some days I'm just doing only for 15 minutes. Some days I'm not even going, because that days I don't need that much of, I'm calm as it is. I don't need that extra thing. But some days which I'm not having a great weekend, or you just want to sit for a couple of hours, that's also fine. The point is to get lost in your chaotic life. You just want to get lost for some time.
I agree with that mentality.
And I tell my kids, I'm going to the portal. I'm going to go and sit there. Because once you're there, you really don't know if it's 15 minutes or 5 hours.
I always end up in there for like 6 hours or more.
Because you wouldn't know. Time is not the point. The point is you like that feel.
Yep.
So you can go to temple or church or anywhere. You have the same feel. The whole point is to attain that feeling.
Yeah, I remember in the beginning of COVID, my son came home with a bit of a cold, and I was like, oh no. So he was sick for like a day and a half, but then I ended up sick for like 15 days. I got COVID, and I was just like done, like tired, right? So afterwards, my energy was so low, and all I wanted to do, once I was able to like get up and move around, and I just grabbed a blanket, I wrapped myself in it, and I walked into my studio, and all I wanted to do was paint.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to phone anybody. I didn't want to, nothing. I just wanted to go in my studio because I couldn't do it for so long, and all I wanted to do was paint.
Yes, that's so true. And sometimes sometimes you look at the medium, you feel like I want to paint this. I got this metallic paint. I don't know what medium,
get
what
excited
made it.
about
I
it.
just want to paint the metallic paint. So I had to find and do something, and so that I can apply the whole. My idea was to use the metallic paint.
Was it acrylic?
Yes.
Or, yeah.
I was so excited. So the whole point was, and I didn't spend a lot of time in the studio too. I was just like, okay, I'll just do it for 10 minutes
Just
and
try.
I'll go finish it and come, and again I'll come tomorrow. So it's the whole point was to be in that chill zone.
That's good. Yeah, I get excited sometimes too about different materials. When I got my metallic water paints, that was like a long week of me just like painting everything.
And then I learned Reiki, and I did more Reiki courses, and I wanted to focus more on all this.
Okay, so now you're doing immersive art and Reiki.
I have mixed everything together, actually. I did that and did this, the Reiki. The whole point is to go into that zone. How do we go to the zone is what I thought,
Yeah. And how does Reiki help get people into the zone or keep them in the zone?
The first half, I'm making the brain make more creative. So first half of my workshop is all about creative. So I teach everything, they learn everything, they understand everything, the learning, talking, everything, the mind being alert, everything is there. In that zone also, my mind may be productively alert, not lost in thoughts or something.
Yeah.
It's productively alert in this moment. So the first half is all about learning things, which the brain is very happy and learn, and gives you a good thrill about it. And after 1 hour, once you have taken your materials, you have selected all your stuff, you go to a quiet zone. Then we do a 1 minute of meditate or 1 minute of breathing exercise where you breathe and calm down and get your mind to the present moment.
Is that before?
No, after we finish. Because once your mind is relaxed, you know what is your art, you have picked your colors. So that way you are not looking forward for anything.
Okay, so you have more potential to actually
do it.
Yeah.
Because your pencil, your color, even the small
I know
thing.
a lot of people start with meditation. I always found that odd.
Yes, that's
because people are coming into the thing and
that is because the moment you open your mouth and you talk to other person and you are looking at the other person, you have taken from that zone to you are gone that zone. It's like getting out of the classroom. You're out of the classroom now.
I usually like doing like a grounding after, like when in my groups.
That's why I have this
send them into the world.
Yes, once they know the drawing, once they know the canvas, once they know what colors they want, they have taken all the brushes, everything is there. There is no reason for mind to be
they know what to expect.
Yes,
and what they're to do.
And then we put the music, and then that's the time I tell them everybody to 1 minute of breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. More oxygen, more oxygen you breathe, more better, good for the creativity. So 1 minute will help a lot, and it will help them to be grounded, because we just had the creativity, we are all excited, everything, it just comes to a more into thing. And then with the bell, we start, and I have a Reiki background music in the back, and the whole place already has a good aura, already has a great vibration.
Yeah, it's a good social place.
Yes. And I always go and cleanse the place.
No, so this is at Third Space now?
Yes.
Third Space Cafe, but it was at the Hub previously.
And even at my studio or in the city, everywhere I go, I just follow the same thing. The whole point is to get the maximum potential at that specific time.
Okay.
Of 2 hours we have got. So after 1 hour, everybody sits, and then they have their own thing. And you must be surprised how much people zone into it, and like you just don't.
It's really quiet.
Yes, for 1 hour to 2 hours is the course, but it's gone to 3 hours because they just don't know. Time is not their essence. So, and more productivity, more creativity, and I have also observed that people who are in that mood in the time, or they feel at that time, and you see that reflects. And since it's a geometry, you are not critically thinking anything. Because it's a geometry, simple geometry. You have to fill the color. So your mind is more relaxed, no thinking, nothing. You are like tuned in because you're applying colors. You're very thin. You want to make it prettier. You're all focused it. And the background music and the whole Reiki thing tunes you up. And when you feel it, you feel like, kind of a moment when it's done. And when they look at it, it's like my inner thing has come out. You see the same colors back and forth.
Yeah.
And I also feel people who feel they need that colors, they will automatically, I always put the 7 colors there.
Okay.
Suppose
so the chakra colors?
Yes,
or,
all
okay.
the basic 7 rainbow colors, chakra colors. If they feel they want red that day, they will automatically will pick red. And the same person who comes to the next show, next workshop, they may not pick red. And that day maybe they are very, very in a good mood and they want to pick gold.
That just speaks to how fluid we all are with our moods, right?
Yes, so I feel like I'm just telling one of the easy way to do it. And I'm giving workbooks too. So when they go home, they can practice it more and more.
One of my friend's brothers, he created a whole coloring book of his own ancient geometry drawings, and then people can buy the coloring book and color it all in. It's all his work.
Yes, this is we do in the first one now, the learn, and once they're done, they paint it in the canvas.
Yeah, on the canvas.
Yeah, on the canvas. Or this time we're having a wooden box with a musical thing, and City is also having so we can have different mediums. We can have it on a glass, we can have it on the floor. But this art is actually done in a rice powder and done on the floor.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yes, the whole point is not to make it anything. The whole point is to leave everything and
then
come to the basic. What is the basic? We have sand and rice and salt.
And it doesn't stay there forever.
But then it's not meant to be.
Yeah, it's not meant to be put on the canvas and hung on the wall and hung for 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole point is to
Yeah.
The whole point is experience. We are not holding anything here. The whole point is not the color. The whole point is not the material.
I think you could do a rice powder.
I did a sand art too.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh.
I have. When I go for workshop, I don't have limited of medium.
Yeah.
I have one basic medium of wood or the canvas is the only thing they give. But I always carry my shinies, my glitters, my sand, my everything is. I have my whole material there. So if the kids want to have glitter, there is glitter. You want to have beads, there is beads. You want to add texture, there is texture. That's where the creativity is not the limit, is what I meant to say. At that point, because your whole point is to relax and you are so much into it. You know what you want to do.
Yeah, like kids would be probably way more into that tactile stuff. So I guess, like, because a lot of adults like to do the coloring.
This is 10-year child.
Yeah.
It's not much a difference because once you get the geometry, you have to use your.
Okay, so your workshops at Third Space Cafe are open to all ages?
Yes, all ages.
Okay.
The youngest one I had was 3 years old.
Oh, okay, that's
cute. She did it though.
Yeah.
Because with the help of 1, 2, 3, step 1, 2, 3, she could finish it. So.
That's awesome. That's nice that you're getting like all different ages all together
that
in one workshop.
That was my whole. I was 3 years. I've been trying to do that. Me and my husband, we are trying to see how it can be given in a very, very easy format.
Yeah, no, I think it's good, and it looks like it's evolving too, from what I can see. So and expanding, and you're getting more chances to perform the workshop.
Yes, I think everybody likes the way. The only comment which repeatedly comes is how much they feel relaxed, which they never expected. That they can go into a Transzone.
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't expect that, because I think traditionally, like when you sign up for like an art activity or an art class, it's just that it's step by step.
Step by step.
Yeah.
The teacher tells you do, you tell you do. But thing is, it's learning. It's more learning. Which I am providing the first 1 hour. Learning. We are learning. We are opening up our imagination. There's a knowledge sharing piece. We are opening our imagination. We are opening it up. That's like opening up the whole thing. And then we close it in a very nice way.
Yeah, that's nice. I think for me, like one of the more recent ones that I've done is I've done a lot of different ones. Like the gentle painting, I use a lot of finger painting on canvas. Little bits of like tools and things, and you don't make what I make, but you can follow along with me. You can watch. You don't have to paint. You can try to paint what I'm painting, but in your own color. So there's so much openness and flexibility to how they can participate. And then more recently, I did one where me and a partner, we created a mirror. So we painted a mirror, or you can glue things to the mirror, and we did mirror talk about I am statements, like I am beautiful, I am capable, I am worthy of, So we did this practice, but the whole time we were creating our mirrors while sharing the knowledge of the thoughts behind doing something like that.
I was thinking the similar idea. I was thinking one of the sculptures I should make is just mirror, and there's nothing in it. What you see is the mirror, is the painting. If you
or
see
even
yourself,
like little pieces of reflection in one of those, that would be cool too.
that what you see is what you
are, the reflection of the
world.
world.
Yeah, the painting I want to show is you.
Yeah. It's interesting, like mirror art. I've always really been intrigued by it. I went to the Ontario Art Gallery a couple of years ago, and one of the exhibits were all these mirrored balls, and they were all over the floors. The room was mirrored. They were hanging from the ceiling, and there was a big tower in the middle, and inside was all these balls, and you can look in, and it looks like it went on for infinity. And I have like a little video of me and a couple people that went with me, and it just, when you were in there, it was like you were in some sort of weird, like astroplaney, otherworldly place.
It's all you.
Yeah, but there was balls, so you were like rounded.
In a different shape. I know. It just changes your perception of seeing yourself in it.
But it was such a cool installation.
I always fascinated with sculptures. Maybe eventually I want to move there.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was looking at some clay pieces.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, right now might not be the best time for me to do that because I'm a little busy, but like there's so many things I want to do in the future. So many things I want to build.
Always.
Yeah. That's the creativity, right? When you exercise it, it doesn't go away. It just like oozes out of you.
Yes, that's the whole point of it.
Mm-hmm.
To gather it and channel it in a proper way.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we did channel it in proper way. These are the few things which I felt like I could use it in my own life. You know, channel it out what I want, like get to the basic of it, like get the. I used to talk to myself, so like you can write poetry later, but you have to know the ABCD, right? Yeah. And then you have to join the words, and then you read a line, and then you prose, and then you write a poetry. I'm always wanted to write poetry right now.
Yeah. So I write poetry. One of the things that I do every once in a while is I do it's called Creative Conversations Pen Pals Project, where we take a bunch of different types of creatives and I put all their names in a hat and I pull you out and you're partnered for 2 weeks. Huh. And one person makes something. So it could be they wrote a song. And your partner has to listen to the song and then they get inspired by it and they write their poem back or they paint their painting back and then they send it to that same partner for 2 weeks, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there's this creative conversation along the way. And I put it all into an exhibit once every like 5.5 months. Or no, once every like 1.5 to 2 months I do one. And it's just so interesting because you have poets matched with painters. Yes. And digital artists matched with singers, and it's just really interesting when a poet gets matched with a poet too. It's just like these long poems because they have so much to say because they're inspired by every word in the poem.
That's nice. That sparks the creativity, you know, that motivates you to think more further.
Yeah, so you're inspired by somebody else's piece.
Yes.
Yeah, your interpretation of it.
It pushes the imagination level a little more.
Yeah, and then you have to respond within 48 hours.
Okay.
So it makes you create quicker and think less about perfection.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been very successful.
Perfection is a hindrance. I think for me, perfection is a hindrance. I don't know. You always feel like it should be so perfect, so perfect. Nobody has told me.
Some people say, have you taken a class? And I say, I'm afraid to take a class because I'm going to lose my style of what I find I like to do. But also, I don't want to be perfect. I don't want my painting to look like a photograph. If I wanted a picture of that valley, I would take a picture of that valley and frame it. I don't want to paint the valley exactly how the valley is. So I'm afraid of perfection as well in my art.
It's pretty hard though.
It's incredible, and Steve. He's a co-host on this podcast as well. Sometimes he jumps on, but he owns the Steve Wilson Art Gallery on Queen Street, and he is an amazing painter when it comes to realism. Like I just like in awe of what he does. I'm in awe of anybody who can paint like that, but it's just not my style. It doesn't give me pleasure.
Because yours is more expression, right? You want expression. right? And that's
It's
true.
still an expression. Like he'll do like paintings of like situations and
No, your
scenarios.
topic is
But
only expression.
yeah, well, yeah,
More like finishing or perfection or anything or anything. Your thing
yeah.
is all like
It's
it's
all from in my head too. Like
to yes.
sometimes I'll dream something and I'll be like, I need to paint that, so it doesn't look right because it's from a
I can't get
dream.
my dream painting in my canvas. I have so much beautiful. It looks so beautiful in my dream.
Oh,
Paint it.
sometimes it's
It's
really
like,
hard.
no, this is not it. Can we change it?
So you dream in dots. You dream in dot art sometimes.
No, I dream what I feel like in my mind, and I just want to. Like recently, I feel like one is like a black painting with a black and white reflection. You're just telling
This
him
was
about.
a dream. Just an image that I woke up remembering. And so I tried to put it down as quickly as possible. So it makes no sense.
No, they're showing something. They're showing the talents in a circus.
It's a circus for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that much. It's Circus
Like
Tent.
You can go with the world is a circus and people are just displaying the talents and being on top of it.
I let other people name it. I put it out on my socials and said, name this, and then the name ended up Penny for Your Thoughts. Because it just doesn't make any sense to anybody. Like, what is going on in that painting? But, yeah, so sometimes I can remember very vividly what like, images I wake up and I go, oh, no, I need to paint that. And then I have to run downstairs and start sketching it out really quick.
So much joy, no?
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Nothing else brings me this much joy other than my son. Like,
I feel like
watching my son do
small things gives you so much joy. It need not be a big art,
especially with especially in art. Like if you're an artist, if you're not feeling joy from it, it's the why are you doing it?
I agree.
All right. So when is your workshop?
This Saturday I have one coming up with the mandala dots, and next month, March 23rd, I'm having another one where I'm teaching another Madhubani art, which is line art.
Okay. And that's the third space.
That's the third space. And the same program is repeated with the St. Catherine City too. It's on June.
Okay.
June month. June 11th, I think.
At the library or?
They haven't decided the place yet. They're still in the process, they're telling me.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is something that...
because of the COVID, they're taking the restrictions out, so they have to come up with a
Yeah,
bed.
that was... I had spoken to Mandy about that possibility because I was booked. I have been booking, but so she had been talking to... Like, we had been talking, and I guess she's getting the same thing from Andrew, who's the coordinator of the rec or leisure department, maybe.
Okay.
And so that's a really good thing for the group because now you can, use these rec centers.
Yes, for sure.
And in a different city.
I was planning to get into leisure guy, but anyway, Mandy did.
Oh, she got it
forward and she did it. I said, okay, thank you, Mandy.
Well, it's under as a group, so that's even better, right? Because, you have partners.
Yes. So that's where I have the basic that if they can do it every day, we can
Anybody
do it.
can
Anybody
do it.
can do it.
Yeah, all ages.
Because everybody is not, and even their age, body
ability,
profile, nothing matters because everybody is able to do it.
That's great. Yeah, I think along the similar way. I put my family first, my work, my school, but then I'll do like a festival in the summer and then one in the winter. Or I'll do I'll plan a couple day retreats and one overnight retreat a year, but I don't go crazy. It's like a side gig because it could be a full-time job if you apply to every opportunity.
Yes, but I do have time. Once the kids go to college, what am I going to do?
I don't know. Life has a funny way of
no, but I will have more time. Not like, you're making...
How old are they?
They're 10 years and 14 years.
Oh, okay,
So I'm in midway now.
Yeah, midway.
So once they go, and I think I'll have more
Then you
time.
might have more time to make it a nice small business and then grow,
I want to open up a studio, though. A creative studio.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of maker spaces being open right now, and it's interesting to me because even here, like next door, they're creating a maker space. the Exchange down on Main Street in Niagara Falls here. It's like a $12 million building that's being put up that has huge maker space for artists.
I'm not looking
And
at,
office spaces and stuff too.
I'm not looking at teaching something. I think I want to have a space where I offer, like a library.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm not giving you any book and I'm not teaching you anything. You know how the concept of library, where you have racks of different medium. You sit down.
That's like makerspace next door.
All right.
So basically, it's a place to come in and create.
Yes.
I think in the Exchange, they will have studio space for artists that don't have studio space in their homes. They'll have like classroom styles if you want to do workshops there. But I think it's less teaching people and more a space that artists can come and create and explore.
Yes, but that's only for artists. What if the 10-year wants the kid to come?
Oh, the public's welcome too because it's attached to the museum and the farmers market.
All right.
Yeah, it's like a hub.
That was the whole plan from what I feel my future is. Just not artist. It's like landscape, everything, even gardening. It's like everything is a part of... and I wanted to open in such a way that there is a place.
There might be a space for you there. You should look into it.
I've not grown that much
Oh,
yet.
not yet then.
Not yet.
But when I went to the initial meetings, like before they broke ground or whatever, with the architects that came, I think they're from a company in Toronto maybe, they asked the artist community our opinion on, the arts and culture community, I should say, our opinion on what we would like to see in there. And there was a lot, like an outdoor garden area and, an amphitheater for, in the evening.
I do. A garden I meant to say is there should be a microscope. See the microscope. Look how it looks in the microscope. Paint now. You understand? Paint the same cells.
Yeah, so there would be an opportunity to bring something like that to that hub.
So what I meant to say is you need not do the same thing because that's the same thing is available. The whole thing is having a microscope that's zoomed out. You see the zoom. You see it there. And the digital art, we teach everything. The whole point is not the tools. The whole point is tell me what you want.
Yeah, and there's spaces for that now for artists because they're approaching, like I've been approached a couple times, is what I'm saying, to ask, like, what would you like to see?
There's a little corner for reading.
Yeah.
They can read. You have a little project for teenagers. They come and do the project. Instead of doing in the basement, there's a printer, there's a thing.
There's a 3D printer next door.
Everything. Yeah. But there is a person, you want to do a design. Make a mannequin. Come and have a mannequin. Have a clothes, different clothes. Because everything can only come when there is a thing and there's... if you have one... If you stick art only to painting, brushes, only thing, and it goes on, I think the kids have a same way of thinking. When they think of workshop, they think of paper, pencil, paint, and in step-by-step instructions.
Yeah, so I think these maker spaces are exactly what you're talking about. Right. It's a place where I'm saying artists, but maybe I should be saying creatives can come together. And so, like, say I don't have space in my house, but I want to do this project that I've been thinking of, and it's unique to me, and I find it interesting, and I want to execute it. Well, here's a space that you can do that in and rub elbows with other people who are doing their own creative things. Right? So
that's nice thing. That's nice then.
Yeah, and
I just started getting out of my basement 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is.
I mean, it's an evolution.
And I don't even know all this existed after I came to know Mandy, and then she told. So then only I came to know that there are so many programs and so many things.
There are people who
I haven't heard it. The problem is when you're here, you don't know what's happening. Mm-hmm. You don't know.
No, it's true. It takes time, especially if you haven't gone to school here and have all the resources in the community, like that tell you what to do, and you go to this center that you think offers artists or creatives this, but then you find out it offers something else, and you're still looking for what you need. So there is a lot of confusion as far as like what's offered.
I also don't want it to spoon feed.
Yep.
The whole workshop I'm trying to do is like I do spoon feed, but you feed it at you. I give you a plate, you feed it.
Yeah.
That's what my thing is. The idea is.
So not the traditional idea of a classroom is what I'm getting.
Yes.
Yeah. So
we have a set time. Mm-hmm. We have a set time, like you come
space.
A space. And some autistic kid doesn't want to do, but he doesn't want to be in the group itself. And then they find that they give them a separate table They like the separate table.
Yeah,
their own.
But they can all be together at the same
No,
table.
but I'm
doing
saying is
different things.
he liked this design. He didn't want to paint with others the same way. He wanted to do different way. He found the complicated design more interesting than the simple one. So it was his zone. It's like his zone. There need not be always group zone is what I meant. It's an individual zone.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Yes, I suppose one person is doing a sculpture on one side. There can be another person doing needle and thread on the other side. It's like I want to mix it. What would I say? Like early years.
Yeah.
And library mix.
Yeah.
In early years, I loved the earlier concept where I take my child. The child can play whatever you want. You clean it and you keep it back.
Yeah.
And you want an instructor to help you, there's always a person. I love that idea. I think that awed me when I came to Canada, that it's so nice that I can go in, pick, and need not be always in the group. I can be your own thing, and if
you can just pop in if you want.
Move on, and you can move. And if you have certain time, you move on, or you can come up at the next day and continue it because it's the thing.
It's kind of how we organize our retreats as well. Is we have multiple things that you can participate in, but you choose your own. Whatever it is that day that you want to participate in. Or you can take some of our kits, or you can go on an excursion, but it's up to you. So it's less like, okay, well, here's your schedule. We're here at 1, we're here at 3, we're here at 5.
Yeah.
Except for meals, of course. But
but that's what I was saying.
It's open, yeah.
It's open because I felt very hard. After 6 years, your child, you have to really, really think where to take the kid.
Yes, it's true. And when they get to teenage years, there's nothing for them anymore.
No. So I have to start. Actually, the workshop concept started only because I was teaching my kids. I told other kids to come. So I started teaching everybody whatever I know. We can do this clay, we can do this, we can do rope. The whole point for me was to just ignite their brain, expand their imagination. That was the only criteria I had in my mind. And then I thought, let me give it to more. Then I started working.
That's really how it goes, right? You hit on something that works.
I felt like there should be a place where their kids can go. It can be grandmother, grandfather. We decided, okay, let's go. You know how they come to early years?
Pre-COVID there was, right? Pre-COVID there was more choices.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I actually, before COVID, I was doing like a youth workshop at the Welland Heritage Council, and it was all about art. And then I had booked one with the city, and I called it Headspace for Youth, and it was an opportunity to come and no devices and create.
This can be done origami, everything. The whole point is not the result. Sometimes I just said, don't take it home. Don't take your artwork home.
Yeah.
Just throw it here.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is not to get attached. The whole point is to enjoy the experience. So when I tell that the kids are not very focused on making it pretty and prettier, they're better in learning the skills too.
Or if you don't have an example for them to follow, if it's just materials.
Yes. Yeah. And then I do tell them how technically we can go about it, how technically you can think about it.
If they want to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But my initial stage is this is your imagination. Can you stretch it more? Stretch it. If you think you're done more, stretch it a little more and see. If it doesn't matter, if it gets ruined, we'll do it again.
It reminds me of like an art challenge that me and one of my good friends did. We were doing we were on a festival committee, and one of the activities was we bought a bunch of different art supplies and we put 5 canvases up at the front, and there was a little bit of an audience, but 5 painters or artists stood in front of them, and we would say, okay, acrylic, and then we'd stop, ink, stop, crayon, stop, switch canvases, stop, turn the canvas upside down, and then what ended up happening was this crazy art came out of it. So it was just something sort of fun, and throw it to the wind and don't take it so seriously. And then we had children from the audience come up and paint for 5 minutes on each one.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is to take, if the kids don't learn how to take their emotions out in a very channeled way, it's going to be only more harder. If you didn't, I know I didn't do meditation when I was 14 or something. Not even for a minute I did it. But I felt like if I tell my kids, sit down for a minute. How about you do this? Even cooking, cleaning, polishing, anything, 1 minute. for a minute. But I was not focused on it. If I practiced it much earlier, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, at least I could have got 60 minutes somewhere.
Yeah.
But and then I felt like it's not easy to sit and be quiet. That's not my style. Everybody don't have the same style of meditating.
Some people go for a run.
Yes,
yeah.
Run, cooking, all this. The whole point is how do you achieve to the target of like the stillness.
Mm-hmm.
Stillness where you're not repeatedly thinking the same thing again and again. Because
where you're not like ruminating on something.
Like a North Pole train going round and round. So that how do you achieve that is to sit there, right? To in stillness. And to get the stillness, you find something which you like.
To learn more about Rajshree and to sign up for her upcoming workshops, you can find out more information in the description. And if you'd like to be a guest, please reach out and contact me at artbyrhiannonbarry@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.